Hey guys, this is Christian here. Today I'm going to be doing a live review slash discussion on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So before you get into this live stream, please like, subscribe, tell me what you think of this movie if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, please click away because I'm gonna say some spoilers. And then at the end, I'm gonna rank the whole franchise because this is a franchise I watched all the movies leading up to this, so I decided it'd only be fitting to rank the entire franchise. So yeah, I'll wait a little bit, see if anyone joins in, and then I can get started. I should get my water. So Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who's directed 4 movies in this franchise: Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and The Final Reckoning. This movie stars the man himself, Tom Cruise, as well as Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Isaiah Morales, Pom Klementieff, Henry Czerny, Nick Offerman, Hannah Waddingham, Tremel Tillman, Angela Bassett, Shea Whigham, and Greg Tarzan Davis. Those are probably all the big names. Oh, and Pom Klementieff as well. I don't know if I said her name. Oh yeah, I did. So this movie centers around Ethan Hunt and his IMF team continuing their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity, which has infiltrated intelligence networks all over the globe. With the world's governments and the mysterious ghosts from Ethan's past on their trail, joined by new allies and armed with the means to shut the Entity down for good, Hunt is in a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever. So this was one of my most anticipated movies of the whole year. I love this franchise. There's so many great installments in it, and watching all the movies again was great. Now, I got a little bit nervous because the early reviews were okay, but they were kind of disappointing. People were saying that it's too much. There's too much exposition. It's just a big nostalgia thing, and they said it was one of the weakest of the franchise, which really disappointed me. But nonetheless, I saw it last Thursday, and I liked it, and I thought it was a great film. I don't think it's one of my favorites in the franchise, but it's not nowhere near the level that people are making it out. It's not another Rise of Skywalker or anything like that. It's a really good movie that delivers mostly everything you want. However, there are some problems that I'm going to talk about first. I feel like most of the problems are in the first act because there are a lot of exposition. A lot. I feel like this movie was made for people who, unlike me, did not watch all the other movies leading up to this. So it's like to explain everything in a way that can kind of be helpful for people who didn't watch it, but at the same time, like for people who have seen it, all of the movies, like it's kind of like, okay, we know this. Whenever there's like a big reveal, they just show like clips. That, to be honest, that's actually kind of helpful because although I was able to piece them together, like when the guy came in from the first Mission Impossible movie. Oh yeah, there will be spoilers if I didn't already say that. When the guy from the first one came in, I think his name was Don Lowe. Like, and then they showed like him. Like, I was able to piece that together rather quickly. There are also a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of ways that they tie this with other events from the franchise. They bring in like some things from Mission Impossible 3 in there. Most of it actually worked for me. They brought in Angela Bassett from Fallout. She's now the president. I thought all that worked. Even bringing back Don Lowe, I thought that was good. But then there was one reveal. It was like Shea Whigham's character actually being Jim Phelps' son. That's Jon Voight's character from the first movie. And it was like, oh, okay, that kind of felt forced. The movie also has a lot of characters in it. Although I thought most of them did a good job with the screen time that they had. Some are not in it as much as you'd like Hannah Waddingham, Tremel Tillman maybe have like 1 or maybe 2 scenes. Also, the president's like cabinet with Holt McElhenney and Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman's not really in it too much. Angela Bassett, good in the scenes that she's in. I think mostly everyone did a good job. Ving Rhames' screen time is pretty limited, but that's because yeah, Luther. Spoilers. Luther dies in the movie. He dies rather early because he sacrifices himself to disarm a bomb, and it was a very emotional scene actually. Extremely emotional scene. A lot of people say because there's so many characters, like a lot of scenes don't hit, but I thought that one hit emotionally. I thought it was very well done. And Luther's the one character besides Ethan who's been in all 8 movies. So yeah, I thought his death was very impactful. And I thought everyone did a good job. The new team members were fun. Palm Clementieff, I thought she was fine in Dead Reckoning. I thought she was really good here. Haley Atwell, great in Dead Reckoning, great here. Tom Cruise, Simon Pegg, all of them were good. The one performance that fell flat for me was Isai Morales as Gabriel. I just thought, like, at the end, he got super over the top, and it was just laughably bad. He had some scenes where I was unintentionally laughing. He had one scene in Dead Reckoning where I was intentionally laughing. It was at the end when he realized he didn't have the key. He was like, "No!" That was unintentionally hilarious. Although for the rest of that, he was just fine. But here he's really over the top towards the end of the movie, and it's distracting, especially because this movie is not supposed to be it's not supposed to be like pure cheese like Mission Impossible 2 was. But yeah, I thought most of the cast did a good job. Is that it for yeah, it's probably it for the cons I have. Now let's get to the good stuff, because there's good stuff. Obviously the action, there's like 2 big stunt scenes in the movie that were both phenomenal. There was the underwater one, which was amazing, and then the plane one at the end, which was also amazing. Both among some of the best stunts of the franchise. Yeah. All the action was good. The directing was good. It was a good looking movie. Good sound design. Good visual effects, because I didn't notice any. Even though they were probably CGI. Anything else I want to say? I think as a conclusion, it was good. I don't really think we need another Mission Impossible after this, but they'll probably make another one, whether it has Tom Cruise or not. Or will they? Or is this the end? We'll have to see. The way they ended it, it kind of could be the end, but they could also. I do think there is room for a future installment. I hope we actually don't get another installment, because like some stories need to end eventually, right? Like the big issue with stories now is that they don't want to end. Every franchise is going on their last leg. Star Wars doesn't want to end. The MCU doesn't want to end. Game of Thrones doesn't want to end. Even John Wick. I love all the first 4 movies, and the 4th movie had such a perfect ending. But you're gonna continue the franchise. Like, it's kind of like we don't need that. Also, Fast and Furious doesn't want to end. Yeah, we live in an age where so many franchises just don't want to end. But we need endings. We need stories to end. And we need them to end while they're on top, Don't let them run until their last leg. That's all I want to say about The Final Reckoning. Yeah, I really liked it. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think the movie, it's definitely not my favorite, but I think it delivered on mostly everything it needed to. Now with all that said, let's rank all these movies. In last place, I have Mission Impossible. In 8th place, I have Mission Impossible 2. This is the only movie in the franchise that I do not like. The one that I would go negative on. I would give this one a 4 out of 10. It's very cheesy. Tom Cruise is decent in it, and there's some okay action, but it's very cheesy. I don't like the villain. Ambrose, I think his name was, Dougray Scott's character. I didn't like the romance with Thandie Newton's character. I thought that was very forced. We see Luther again. I always love seeing Luther. But yeah, again, very cheesy. There's one whole scene with the motorcycles. I thought it was a little too much. Like, they're motorcycles, they're running it into each other. A lot of it was very nonsensical. I'm not really a fan. Number 7, we have a 7 out of 10 movie on here. The first Mission Impossible. I thought this was a fun spy movie. Obviously, Tom Cruise great. Ving Rhames great. Jon Voight as the villain, Jim Phelps, he was good. Um, the other characters were decent. There was really good action scenes. There's one good scene. It's probably the scene you guys all know with him trying to take something. I forgot what does he try? He tries to take something. He's like goes in something and he goes into like a laser room, and that's where Donlo is. I watched the movie last week. They tried to steal a list. So yeah, not really anything mind blowing, but it's the first movie of the franchise, and I think the direction from Brian De Palma was pretty good. So yeah, that's number 7. Everything else is 8 out of 10 or above. So now we're on the 8 out of 10 movies. Number 6, I have Mission Impossible 3. This was J.J. Abrams' directorial debut, and I think it was good. Tom Cruise is great. Ving Rhames great. Michelle Monaghan as his new wife was great. Their love story is very good. Way better than whatever we got in the second movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman steals the show as the villain. He's the best part of the movie. He's probably the best villain of the franchise. He's just phenomenal. Billy Crudup's character was good. Lawrence Fishburne was good. I don't think the movie has good action. The movie doesn't have the best cinematography. It kind of has like a grainy look to it, or like a kind of like, that's like it's not really a great looking movie. The direction wasn't really too stand out either, and the story like isn't the one that hooks me the most out of all of these. And there's also one reveal with Billy Crudup's character that I was like, okay, yeah, I knew this was coming. And even though they tried to like misdirect it with having Lawrence Fishburne's character be the red herring, I was able to see through it right away. So now we get to number 5, which is the most recent one, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. You already heard my whole review for that, so we don't need to talk about that. Number 4, right above it, I have Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, another 8 out of 10 for me. Yeah, Mission Impossible 3, The Final Reckoning, and then Dead Reckoning are all 8 out of 10s. I thought The Entity was a great addition to the movie. Very interesting villain, very interesting how they dealt with AI. So many good performances in it. Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, the whole team. I thought Gabriel and Pom Clementieff's characters weren't that interesting. I grew to like Pom Clementieff's character in Final Reckoning more than I did here, because she's just kind of like a one-note side villain. I think her name was Paris, and then she becomes a member of Ethan's team. I think that's when she becomes interesting. Gabriel, he's interesting, having all the ties to Ethan and stuff. But Jason Morales' performance is just kind of, when he's not like over the top and hamming it up, he's just a little bit wooden. The action's great. The whole motorcycle stunt was amazing. The train sequence was great. So yeah, a great movie. Now we have a top 3. We have a 9 out of 10 movie coming up. Number 3, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. This movie has probably one of the top 2 best stunts of the franchise, with the whole Dubai building scene. Amazing. I thought the team dynamic was great. You had Tom Cruise, you had Ethan Hunt, you had Benji, Simon Pegg's character, who was introduced in the 3rd movie. You had Jeremy Renner as Brandit, and then you have the female character. She was great. The whole team was great. I will say the villains weren't the most notable for me. The guy who played the main villain, he was the main villain in John Wick. I think the villain's name in this one was Kurt Hendricks. Ooh, we have a grifter. But yeah, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is great. Very good action scenes. Great direction from Brad Bird. So yeah, not a top 2 for me, but it's an amazing movie. Number 2, we have our first 10 out of 10 movie, and our first Christopher McQuarrie directed Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. The reason why I put this one above Ghost Protocol is even though I don't think any of the action scenes are as good as the Dubai one, I feel like everything else was kind of elevated for me. The whole plane scene was great. The whole underwater scene was great. Solomon Lane was a very good villain. I actually like him way more in Fallout, but I thought he was still good here. I thought the team dynamic was better. You got more Luther. Luther wasn't really in Ghost Protocol. He had a cameo at the end, but he's in this one more. And then you also have Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, and Tom Cruise returning. Yeah, the introduction of Ilsa Faust, Rebecca Ferguson's character. Her death in Dead Reckoning was it was sad, but I think she's a great character. You bring in Alec Baldwin. He was decent. The on-set shooter. Oh my god! I shouldn't make jokes about that. I give them both the same rating. Both 8 out of 10s for me. But yeah, Rogue Nation, great movie. But number 1, Mission Impossible Fallout. Come on. The best action, the whole helicopter scene, the whole Halo jump, all the action amazing. Tom Cruise at his game here. Henry Cavill, one of the best villains of the franchise, as August Walker. Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and Rebecca Ferguson and Alec Baldwin coming back. You had Angela Bassett coming in. Great cast. I think it has the most interesting story out of all the Mission Impossibles. And it's arguably one of the best action movies ever made and one of the century. Amazing movie. So yeah, let me pull up my final ranking real quick. So yeah, ignore the ballerina ads. So yeah, number 1's Fallout, number 2 Rogue Nation, 3 Ghost Protocol, 4 Dead Reckoning, 5 Final Reckoning, 6 3 7 the original, 8 2. So yeah, that's my final ranking of the Mission Impossible franchise, and that's my review on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.